My friends, what do you say? I don't know. Banana Republic? Are we there? Is it happened already?
There was a time in my lifetime where if the FBI and the DOJ served a warrant and they confiscated a bunch of documents and equipment and stuff, my first instinct would have been, they probably have a good reason to do that. Today, my instinct is they just trying to get everybody that had anything to do with Donald J. Trump, period. Because we see it across the board. We see it with the January 6th folks. We see it with people in the military, people in police. You're not allowed to even have donated to Kyle Rittenhouse's legal defense fund. Anything that you do that runs contrary to what they want you to do is going to put you at risk. Heaven forbid you work with the president. You help the president.
Yeah.
They want to get in there. They want to see his communications. They want to see his documents. I mean, look. Go ahead.
No, they've gone after people's jobs. We've already seen from the establishment. Don't let anyone get a job if they worked with the president with Trump's administration. Yeah. So that's like the lowest level of it. You're a Trump supporter. Get out. Don't wear the MAGA hat. You believe you're crazy. You're a white supremacist. Now it elevates to anybody who's ever worked with the Trump administration. You'll never be allowed to work again, or at least in their system. Which is why it's so important that we build our own networks. But then you see what happens with big tech and the media. So I'm a little pessimistic now. I mean, we had some good stuff, like the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was all excited. I was like, the ending of that show is great. This guy takes the American flag and beats Antifa with it. But that's just a TV show. That's not justice. We watch what happens with the Chauvin trial. They're walking these jurors through riots with security, with what did Andrew say they had? MP5s or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Whatever guns they were using. They were using very serious weapons to protect the jurors. One of the jurors actually lived in the city where riots were happening. There was no justice. And we're watching this across the country. Now it's happening again. Then you get a story where it's the previous president's lawyer is being raided by the DOJ. As soon as Merrick Garland gets in, appointed by Joe Biden, there it is. Green light. Go after those who opposed us.
You think Merrick Garland's got a bone to pick?
I would say so.
With Giuliani?
Just in general, right? With the Republicans in general, right?
I think we are watching the cult takeover.
Yeah.
And it's been happening for some time.
It's everywhere. It's in everything. It's in every nook and cranny of every agency, every bureaucracy, every bureaucracy, cop chopper, every institution, everything. And it's like at some point, we just have to accept it. I still, even in this work that I do and the conversations that I have and the research and the people I talk to, I still am a little shocked each time. I still am a little saddened each time. I still feel like a bit of my optimism and my idealization of America is still there. And so each time it just chipped. So like, when am I going to become totally black-pilled? This is the question. And it hasn't happened yet. Where like the next thing that happens, and I'm like, oh yeah, totally unsurprised.
There's two big issues. The first is that the cult, the establishment cronies have attained such a level of power that they can literally do this. When Donald Trump, chants "lock her up" at these rallies, they're screaming like, "Oh heavens! Oh, we cannot be a country that threatens to send the legal system against our political rivals." What's that? Trump's out of office. Send the legal system after our political rivals.
Indeed.
That's exactly what we do. But the other thing is the unwillingness of Americans to stand up for the principles of this country. So before the show, we were talking about local police departments, and I'll tell you, I guarantee you will have a bunch of cops right now who are going like, man, I get it. These guys are saying how bad it's getting, and I totally recognize the corruption in office. We got to do something about it. Then his boss walks in, and he says, Johnson, go arrest Jack Murphy for sedition. And he goes, you got it, boss. Hey, Jack, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. And you're like, what? I'm doing what I'm told because I don't care. So long as regular people just go along with whatever the insane garbage is, it's not going to change.
Well, the problem with the police department is you've got people that go in who are true believers who might now become cynical and not want to participate. Then you got people that are doing it because it pays better than their next best alternatives.
And it barely pays.
So now you added this extra pressure to it. You're not going to get the idealists. You're not going to get the people with better options. You're going to get people with even worse options saying, this is my best choice to enter in this position that basically everybody hates, no one wants around, and you have to go do terrible, dirty work on people. You're going to get goons.
It's like Venezuela. The Venezuelan soldiers are like, I get food if I do what Maduro wants.
And if
So,
I don't
whatever.
get any food. Literally don't get any
you
food
go.
if I don't. Yeah.
See, this is the thing that the establishment, cult-like, woke left and corporate neolib people understand way better than conservatives.
Yes.
It's that there is no loyalty among the average person to any of their fellow countrymen. They know that, which means you can literally have FBI agents who are like, man, this is freaking me out. And they go, now go arrest him. Okay, boss. Whatever. Gleefully being like, I swear an oath to the Constitution. Is that a gun? To prison with you.
That troubles me, dude. It troubles me that you say, and I agree with, and then I ask why. Why do your citizens feel no loyalty to their fellow citizens? If that's not the case, then the citizenry is too broad.
I think, man, we're a gluttonous, lazy people that has for too long, maybe this past couple of generations have had no real struggle, just sitting around enjoying the fruits of the previous wars and the labor of the previous generations. Now we've got, fat homeless people. That's like how prosperous this country is. So now they become lazy and just like, I don't want to sacrifice my comfort for you. So you will get right now, like cops who swear an oath to the Constitution and then violate the Constitution every single day and say, whatever.
Well, in their mind, their oath is to the Constitution, but their oath is to the guy who's giving them orders, right? In their mind, it's like the Constitution orders. Okay, I do what they say.
Yeah.
I'm not a lawyer. I'm just projecting. I don't really know.
But it's
what's
true. We had Andrew on last night,
Yeah.
and he was talking about that the chief of police is a politician. Once you get to that level of the law enforcement, you become a politician, and they basically are political. We want to think of it as a civil movement, but the police are basically answering to the politicians, and if the politicians go in a political direction, the police.
But it's the individual officer who can say no.
Right.
So I don't want to derail too much. We're talking about Giuliani and the point at which the federal government now is arresting its rivals. So let's go back in time. Let's go back in time to what, 2017, I think it was, when we started seeing. When was the battle for Berkeley? Was that 2017?
It
Yes.
was after the election. Yeah. Milo was there, and
Yeah. So at this point, you're seeing these clashes, and the Proud Boys show up.
that was Bike Lock Day, wasn't it?
I think that was 2017.
Yeah.
But then it happened again for the next year or so.
Yeah.
And over the next year, I started talking about. I remember I was talking to a bunch of DC commentators and conservative journalists, and I was like, "This is scary because the escalation of this is civil war." And then, immediately I get pushback from these conservative, DC folks who are like, oh, come on. It's just a bunch of people fighting in the street. And I said, listen, at what point does this escalate further and further until it reaches the highest level of government? No, that's never going to happen. The security state is strong. It won't allow collapse, blah, blah, blah. Pretty sure when the DOJ seizes the cell phone of the previous president's lawyer, you're seeing the breakdown. It's there you go. I mean, I know we've had crazier with like Nixon and Watergate and stuff, or I shouldn't even necessarily say crazier because maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just crazy, and maybe now when you combine the years of street conflict, the years of media manipulation, the lies, and the foreign collusion, interference, all the crazy whatever with. Now that Joe Biden is in power, he brings in Merrick Garland. Merrick Garland goes after the Trump administration. I don't think we've seen anything this crazy since the Civil War.
And it's just getting started. So the United States has been abroad as a foreign occupying force fighting counter-insurgency battles against the insurgents that are trying to expel the government from their occupation. It's exactly what they're going to do here now. They are a hammer. We are the nails, and this is going to be the war on terror 3.0, but it's really the war on drugs. It's really the war on Americans. This is the war on Americans 1.0, and they're going to use the entire apparatus that they have developed over 2 decades now of being an occupying force and squashing dissent. They're going to use it here in the United States. And, dude, we predicted this at the end of last year, and now it's happening. And now tonight is the night Joe Biden's going to go on TV. He's going to call all the 400 people they've arrested in January 6th as the insurgents responsible for the most egregious attack on our democracy since the Civil War. They've already shown that they're trying to filter out the armed forces, the police, everyone else. If you just had any inclination to support Trump or Kyle Rittenhouse or anybody else, they're coming after all of us. The de-Trumpification is a real thing.